Centrifuge. Brand, Hettich, Model, Universal 320R and Mikro 220R. The refrigerated centrifuge is used to separate substances or insoluble particles from a solution. The particles get separated according to their size, shape, density, viscosity of the medium and rotor speed by using the centrifugal force. Components. Lid, to close the centrifuge, while the machine is running. The lid can be opened when the centrifuge rotor is at rest. Rotor. The rotor is the piece that spins the samples. There are two types of rotor, the fixed angle and swinging bucket rotors. This model uses the fixed angle rotor include the rotor for 1.5 to 2.0 milliliters centrifuge tube. The rotor for 50/15 milliliter centrifuge tube. The rotor for 15 milliliters centrifuge tube. Control knob. For setting the individual parameters. Turning counterclockwise reduces the value, while turning clockwise increases the value. Display screen. Control panel push buttons is a set of keys that includes Stop open push button, press this keys to unlock the lid. Start impulse push button, press this keys to start centrifugation run and to store inputs and changes. Select push button, selection control key for selecting specific parameters. Subsequent parameters are selected by every further keystroke. RCF push button, for switching between RPM and RCF display. RCF values are displayed in greater than and less than symbols. Pre-cooling push button, for starting pre-cooling. This button is only used when centrifugation is needed at low temperature. To set the desired temperature, press the pre-cooling button to adjust the temperature of the rotor and the chamber before putting the sample into the machine. Before using the centrifuge, read and understand the operating manual and observe all cautionary information printed on the centrifuge. Specifically, the maximum rotational speed, type, and size of the rotor that can be used safely. Operation. Plug in and switch on the machine. The nominal values of the last run appear on the display. Setting a parameter. The following steps are included. First, select the desired parameters by using the Select button. Program recall is a program position of the called-up program that has been set before. There is no need to set up this parameter when using the tool for the first time. Then, press the Select button to set the running time in minutes by using the control knob. Press the Select button again to set the running time in seconds by using the control knob. Next, press the Select button to set the round per minute or RPM by using the control knob. For the relative centrifugal force or RCF setting, press the RCF button to switch RPM to RCF mode and then set the centrifugation radius in millimeter. For rotor radius, see the cautionary information that printed on the centrifuge. Then, press the Select button to set the RCF value by using the control knob. Next, press the Select button to set the starting steps. Then, press the Select button to set the break steps. After that, press the Select button to set the temperature by using the control knob. Then, press the Select button to set the program position on which the program is stored. Finally, press the button Start/Impulse to store your data. OK message is displayed briefly as confirmation. Note: if you already set your data but did not press the Start/Impulse push button, your data will not be saved. You must set it again. Preparing and loading samples. First, inspect centrifuge bottles or tubes for cracks before use. Next, place your sample in the centrifuge tube and then cap the tubes with proper lids. Then, weigh the tubes containing your samples and record the weight. After that, place the sample tubes in the proper adapters and then load the rotor symmetrically. For the rotor of 15 and 50 milliliters tubes, opposing tubes should be of the same type and be of the same weight. For microcentrifuge tubes, the rotor must be loaded symmetrically with tubes containing the same volume. After that, screw the rotor lid tightly and then close the centrifuge lid. Next, press the Start/Impulse button to start the centrifugation run. Finally, press the Stop/Open button when the speed is reduced to 0 rpm, and then take your samples out of the rotor. Switch off and unplug after finishing. Cautions. Study the instructions manual of each machine well before use. Inspect centrifuge bottles or tubes for cracks before use. Cracked tubes can fracture at high speeds or at the very least, leak samples into the rotor. Close the sample's lid and the rotor's lid tightly before starting the centrifugation. Do not use flammable or explosive materials that react with one another. Balance your samples by mass, not volume, before putting them in the centrifuge. Place tubes in the rotor symmetrically. Maintenances. Always record use in the logbook after finishing. Running the machine at low temperature may cause ice formation at the inner wall of the chamber. To prevent moisture that damages the machine, wait for the ice to melt, then wipe the machine dry and do not close the machine's lid. Clean the rotor immediately if a spill occurs and notify the scientist who supervises the machine.